And dudettes, I'm back. So this this fireside chat is just going to be okay. Last one was what can I do? What am I going to be doing as your pastor during this time? What are your pastors and parish leaders going to be doing? This one is what can you be doing? And hey, you already know. You're already thinking about things that you can be doing. Some of y'all, you're just kind of doing the same thing, but you're not seeing as many people. Some of y'all are still going to work, yada yada. But these are just some ideas. This is grist for the mill. This is just fodder for you, okay? So some ideas about what you can do. One, I just want to say this. Some of these are going to be, it's going to be from the, I won't say from the sacred to the profane, but it's going to be from the pedestrian, from the regular and the normal to the, I don't know, more spiritual. But the first one is just regular and normal. But man, I've suffered from not working out. I went like 4 or 5 days without working out because I swim at a gym and I work out a little bit there afterwards after I swim, but can't do that right now. Don't want to do that right now. I want to flatten the curve, so it's probably locked up anyway, even though it's called 24-hour fitness. But every place is in a weird place right now, so 24 hours probably locked up. Either way, I made the mistake of not working out, and I just about crawled out of my skin yesterday. So I want to encourage you. We are psychosomatic. To think that your body's not important is an ancient heresy called Gnosticism. God made your body. He made you in His image, and He made you with a body. And then He took a body as the second person of the Trinity, and He retains a body. He will always have a body. He's a man forever. Jesus, the Son of God, fully God. And He resurrected with a body, with the same body, but restored, because He has the nail prints in His hand. So it's the same body, but restored and better. And you're going to get a restored body too. And so the body's important. Don't be super spiritual and discount that. You need to be exercising. So one of the things, just if you have a wall and a floor, you can exercise. You might be used to fancy gym exercises, but you just reduce. I'm used to swimming. I can't swim right now, but I can do push-ups, which is part of my workout now actually has become in the gym just body weight exercises. It's hard to hurt yourself without weights. So push-ups, pull-ups. Pull-ups are harder if you don't have something that goes in your door frame. I do. Pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, lunges, all sorts of things like that you can do. Now, so that's that. I would just say work out daily or every other day if you can. Sort of along those lines too. It doesn't have to be that strenuous. Get out and walk. Walk the neighborhood. In my PhD in Scotland, it would get dark for about 4 months every winter. The sun would go down before I left work, and it would come up after I got to work, and so I would never see the sunlight, and I almost went crazy. If you don't see the sun for 4 months, you go crazy, by the way. If you've always been in Houston, you don't understand this, but it's true. And so the Scottish figured out how not to go crazy, even though it still affects them. My supervisor was Norwegian, and it's even worse there, so he had figured out the drill, and he just took a walk in the middle of the day for like an hour plus every day around lunchtime. Just get out in the sunshine, even though there wasn't much, but there was something. And so that's one of the things we need to be doing right now is with social distancing in place and you can't meet in large groups, like you could still get out and walk. It kills a lot of birds with one stone. You probably already figured this out. Again, this is along the lines of what I said at the beginning of this fireside chat. You've probably already figured this one out. You see a lot of neighbors walking right now because it's something we can do. We're keeping our distance. We're being seen in the neighborhood. Guess what? You can pray as you pass houses, as you pass people. You can wave, you can talk from a distance. They see you out there. You could be a neighborhood presence. We're getting out, to my shame, guys, to my shame. This isn't the subject of doing things moving forward forever, hopefully, that we haven't been doing as well before coronavirus. Walking in the neighborhood. Prayer walking in the neighborhood. Being a presence, a visible presence with our neighbors. This is happening. We're taking our family out once or twice a day, in the evenings especially, to do that, and it's just a great way to leverage opportunities that we have right now with the things that we can do. So take walks, make walks a big part of your prayer life, a big part of your exercise, and a big part of your just social presence in the neighborhood. This is the geography that God has given us. So claim it for Him. Get to know your neighbors even during this time. So another thing is just time with God. This is one of the more spiritual things, but it's for our whole person, right? Just use this time to spend sweet time with God, unhurried time with God in His Word and in prayer. Really want to encourage that. I have some free books called Unhurried Time with God by Jeff Wells. He's one of my mentors. Right here to my right in a box. I gave them to all the men that went on the men's retreat. That was our theme for the weekend. If you don't have one and you want one, it walks you soup to nuts, A to Z, alpha to omega, top to toe, hip to thigh. How many other metaphors can I use here? Through how to spend time daily with God. There's nothing, friends, this is not hyperbole. There's nothing more important in life. Take this time to start that practice and never stop until the day you breathe your last, okay? You won't regret it. So Unhurried Time with God. If you need help, I can give you a book. If you need help, I can talk with you. If you need help, your parish leader can talk with you. You may be a parish leader and need help. Hopefully not, but if so, talk to me. Or get a book. Number 4 or whatever, read. Man, I've got a lot of books. I mean, some of them are in the stack here, okay? I've got a lot of books that I haven't, let's see, half of those are books, maybe a little fewer than half, but about half of those are books that I want to read but haven't started reading yet, or I've just started. Man, what a great time to not only start projects and things that have been in the margins of our lives, but read. Spend some time reading. I'm not even going to say spend some time watching Netflix stuff, because that's already going to happen. But resist the urge. Give yourself a show once a week, but spend some time being quiet and digging into them non-beep, beep, 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 beep books. You read, you move your eyes left to right and connect words to form sentences, and it's good for your brain and good for your soul. So do that. Read. Man, I'm such a dinosaur. Projects that you just don't ever have time for, but that you want to get to. And let me just say this: you all know what those honeydews and what those projects are. I just want to say this and get into meaning a little bit. And this Fireside Chat's a little longer than the others, and I'm gonna wrap up pretty soon here. Plant a garden. What a great time to plant a garden. This is a time of fear. It's a time of uncertainty. It's unprecedented. I also think it's going to happen more and more. Not necessarily that global viruses are going to break out more and more, although they might. But just, I think we're going to see more and more of things happening on a global scale. We've all thought that. Why? Because we're more connected now than ever. We're a global village now more than ever. And so because of that, this is the nature of the beast. And so all that to say, in this time of uncertainty, they've always said that we've heard, and it's true, that having a child is an act of hope, because it's bringing a new person into a world and saying this world is worth living in. That's an act of hope just by its very nature. Another act of hope is planting a garden. The elders in our church just planted one. I was at their house yesterday and saw it. It looks great. It's just a garden in their backyard with 3 or 4 boxes. Now, are you going to be able to get the box material from the lumber yard? Probably not right now. But planting a garden is so full of hope, because it's putting a seed down and it's saying, I want to see this thing grow. I want to cultivate it and tend to it, and it's going to be a slow process. It's going to be an organic process. I'm going to have to wait for the food. But there's so much there in the gardening process that speaks of hope, that speaks of patience, that speaks of waiting, that speaks of fruitfulness. And there's so many good metaphors there. So that's just an act of hope right there, and for that reason, do it. Plus, you get some veggies or whatever it is you're planting at the end, and your kids can do it with you. So it's just a great thing. I'd encourage you to plant a garden. My mother-in-law wants us to come help her plant a garden, so hopefully we can do that. And we have a pool, so I'm a pastor with a pool. Welcome to America. But I don't know that we have room to plant one. But man, I'd love to really think about it. So plant a garden. Martin Luther is kind of the one who got me thinking about it, because I've shared this before, but he famously responded to the question, if Jesus were going to return tomorrow, if today were your last day on earth, what would you do? And he said, I'd plant a tree. Think of how well it would do. Which, sitting there going, what does that mean? Why would you plant a tree? Think of how well it would do. In other words, it's his understanding of the new heavens and new earth was the opposite of what many of ours is, which is that everything's going to burn. From a misreading and possibly a mistranslation of that passage is it in 1 Peter 3. Where Peter seems to say everything's going to be destroyed by fire at the end, but actually I think it's going to be, everything's going to be purged by fire, and the things that are founded in Christ are going to be restored and recreated because of his resurrection. So the idea that if your body is a seed now, Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15, it's going to be an oak tree in the new creation. There's going to be continuity. The seed has everything in it that the oak tree becomes, but the oak tree has much more glory, to use a biblical term, much more weight and substance and beauty and strength than the seed. And so it is with your body, so it will be with all creation. So if you plant a tree, you just plant a seed, you plant a garden, it's an act of hope. Not in just the fact that we're going to keep on living, hopefully, but also in the idea that we're heading somewhere and that Christ is going to make all things so beautiful. He's going to make everything sad come untrue. So plant a garden, and let that be a metaphor for the way that we see this time to take full advantage of the place that God's put us in. A few more ideas, and then I'm done. Attend to neighbors, especially. There are so many ways we can't attend to our neighbors right now, but especially the infirm who are more susceptible in lots of ways, but even to this virus right now. Like, check on them first on your street. We have at least two widows and one older couple as well on our street that we've checked on, and conversations have been started that I've just kind of been waiting to have for 4 years and haven't had. We've had them now. I know their names now. It's beautiful. So I want to follow up on that after coronavirus goes bye-bye. And those are seeds that we're planting to carry the metaphor forward. So I want to encourage you to do that. It's your Christian duty. James tells us pure religion is to care for widows and orphans because they can't really give anything back to you and they're in severe need. So that's the gospel. That's Christians being Christ carriers and Christ followers. So do that. Provide for them. Check on them. Even if you just that's what I did with one of the widows. One of them was gardening, and we went to her door. I went to her door with one of my kids, and we heard I'm over here. I was like, wow, it scared me, but she was in her bushes, and we talked to her. The other one was behind her door, and we went prepared and had a letter, and I put my card in it, and she called me, and it was great. So even if it's just a letter through their front door with your number and all that, go to the grocery store for them. Don't let them go. All that stuff. Or order online. Drive-thrus, this is one thing Greg Abbott said, our governor, go to drive-thrus. Restaurants are closed, but they have to still pay the rent. Support local businesses and restaurants. If you want to do takeout once or twice a week, go order. A lot of these places will, like Buffalo Grill here on Voss, will bring you, it's all free delivery pretty much because they want the business. It's free delivery. They'll give you, if you go to Buffalo Grill, if you go up and get it, they'll give you free coffee. I took a walk, a get to know you discipleship walk really with one of their employees yesterday, and he was telling me all this, and that's cool. That's a whole different story, but he's been seeing us do anchor groups and discipleship groups in there for years, and he finally just said, hey man, can we get together? So that was pretty cool. But wash your hands and don't pick your nose. Not just now during coronavirus. Never pick your nose. My wife caught me doing it today. Shh. I washed my hands. Okay, I'm changing my shirt. I'll see you in a few.